Hi everybody. This video is a follow-on to the video that I posted earlier about John Wooden's Pyramid of Success. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to break this pyramid down a little bit and explain to you how I use this with you at PE every year. Every year. So what I want to do is I want you to, first of all, consider the shape of the pyramid, okay? So at the pyramid, at its base, it's very wide, and then it gradually gets narrower and narrower till at the point, there's only one peak. So this represents, or this is sort of the same as at the beginning of the school year. Think about our school and all the other schools. It's not that we're in competition with the other schools, by the way. This is tricky. It often sounds to you probably like I'm thinking that we are in competition with the other schools, and that there can only be one winner. This is not true. Every school can win, or no schools can win, or half the schools can win. Winning is not based on how a school does in comparison with other schools, but it's based on how a school does in comparison with what a school is capable of doing. Okay, so the victory is not over another school, it's over a school's own potential to be great. Okay, if you reach that potential, then you have victory. What if every school reaches their top potential? Then every school wins. So it's not like there can only be one winner. But the thing about human nature is that as you get higher and higher and farther along down a road, or as things get harder and harder or more challenging, people tend to fall out. And so the pyramid becomes narrower and narrower and narrower the higher you go. This is just sort of how it is. I love this pyramid idea. I love it because it points us in a direction. It's almost like the pyramid's an arrow pointing up. And it's like we're supposed to be going that way, not that way, not that way, not that way, but that way. And the more we keep going that way, if we just keep on going, others will fall out and we'll be the last one standing, whether it be the last school standing, or you can apply this to yourself in your own personal situation. You can be the last person standing. And there you go. Now, what I like to think of is that for our PE purposes, that top of that pyramid represents the night of Focus on Achievement night, because that is the sort of culmination of everything that we've done in the school year, right? So we're working toward a moment. If you think of the 7 habits, we're proactive and we're beginning with the end in mind, and the end in mind is the night of Focus on Achievement night. That is the end that we have in mind. And then you get to put first things first, which is habit 3. Well, let's bring it back to the pyramid. Okay, let's look at what it actually says on the bottom of the pyramid, and then I'm going to show you how we actually do this at Cypress Woods. So check out these words, okay? So read them. They're very interesting words at the bottom, fundamental, basic words that everybody should be able to do, right, on a basic level. So let's go over those words one by one. The first word is industriousness, probably a word that you don't use very often or ever. You don't hear me say it because I don't ever really say that word, industriousness. So what does that mean? Well, industriousness is that quality of just working. If you're an industrious person, you work hard. It's, let's say, the opposite of laziness. Think of it that way. Laziness is the opposite of industriousness. That's the way we can define it. You are somebody that works. Okay, the next word is something that you know I'm really big on, friendship. Our entire school year theme 2 years ago was the new kid. Show that new kid a little friendly feeling. You don't have to be friends with everybody, okay? But you have to be friendly toward everybody if you want to have a winning situation. Because a lack of friendliness gets in the way of success. It holds people down and it holds teams down. Let's look at the third one. It says loyalty, okay? Well, you know what loyalty means. If you're loyal to something, you are there for that thing, whatever it is you're loyal to. I'm loyal to you guys. You guys are why I come to school. You guys are why I work, okay? I work for you guys. I care about you, and I want to be loyal to you, and you can count on me. I talk about you, to people all over the world. I send videos of you guys performing to people all over the world, people that are considered famous. Why? Because I'm loyal to you. You can count on me being in your corner, and you need to be loyal to each other. When you don't have loyalty, all right, well, if let's say I wasn't loyal to you, let's say I didn't really care about you, then why would you ever work for me? Why would you ever do it? Why would you ever work to the person on your right or on your left if you couldn't at least count on them at least being friendly to you, if not more than that? Let's take a look at the next word. What it says is cooperation, and the last word, enthusiasm. Well, let's take those one at a time. You know, cooperation is something I'm big on. You know, I talk about it all the time. I try to expect it from you guys all the time. I mean, if you think about just the systems that we have at PE, they're all based on cooperation. Okay? They're all based on, like, when it comes time to sitting in the circle, for example, we don't have an exact place for everybody to sit. We expect you to cooperate and sit however you sit, and sit together and make it good for each other. When it comes time to run a lap, it's just, you just go. You just don't get in each other's way. Cooperate. Don't knock each other over. I mean, when it comes time to, cooperation is at the heart of everything we do in PE. If you don't have cooperation, think about free time. You have to cooperate in terms of using the equipment. Think about that. Cooperation is really at the heart of everything. And of course, enthusiasm, you know, that's my middle name. Actually, it isn't my actual middle name, but enthusiasm means being excited about what you're doing, caring about what you're doing, being pumped up about what you're doing. So if you can't be excited, cooperate, have loyalty, and actually care about what you're doing, have friendship, or at least work in a friendly way with each other, and have industriousness where you're going to work hard, if you don't have those, there's no point in going to the second layer, because everything else that you do is going to be based on a weak foundation. And by the way, don't you think it's interesting that those boxes can be thought of, and maybe you've already thought of this, just like bricks? Ha! Bricks. It's not just the bricks, it's the mortar. You guys that are new at school this year, I'm using a lot of references that you wouldn't know about, but that's okay. You just listen long enough, you'll figure it all out. One of the things that we do every year is we have a theme. You know that. The 20th kid is our theme this year. Well, our theme last year was, it's not just the bricks, it's the mortar. The mortar is the places between the bricks, the little lines in between the bricks, and that's what holds the bricks together. So anyway, if you have a bottom layer of those 5 things and you don't have any one of those 5 things in place, you're in trouble. You're not going to get very high on that pyramid. But if you lay that foundation, boom, you have the potential to be something. Okay, you have a long way to go still, but you have the potential to be something. At the beginning of every school year, this is what we focus on, is that bottom layer. And you may not have thought of it that way before, but trust me, that's what we do. Let's take a look at the second layer. And by the way, that's where the little side words begin, is on the second layer. So, you probably couldn't see it when I showed it in the last video, but I'm going to show this close and see if you can see that word, that first one there. Okay, and I'm talking about that little side word there. That word is called ambition. Ambition is when you are trying to be something, when you're trying to do something, you're trying to get to somewhere. That's ambition. Okay. As a group, I try to set an ambition for us all, and that is our ambition at the end of the PE years to get here, which is a stunning, amazing focus on achievement night performance. That's the ambition. Most folks, and I'm not, again, understand, I'm not trying to say we're better than anybody. I'm not trying to say we're worse than anybody. I'm not even comparing us to anybody, but I'm just stating a fact. Most folks that do this PE job do not set their ambition way up as high as we set ours, which is to have 200 kids operating in perfect coordination with each other on a musical performance that takes 25 to 30 minutes in front of 500 plus people, and they've never practiced it before until the night they do it for the first and only time. That, friends, is, some would say, an impossible ambition. Some would say you are crazy if you think that's going to happen. It's not going to happen. Well, that's not what I think. And we've proven that if we set our ambition that high and we lay these bricks in place, we can get there. And we have gotten there. We've gotten there for 10 years now. Let's look at the second level, okay? So, self-control, alertness, what does that one say? Initiative, and intentness, okay? Let's break those words down. Self-control is easy to understand. You guys know what that means. But isn't it interesting that self-control isn't on the bottom? You would think that's where that would be, because self-control is like a be proactive thing. It's an individual thing. But guess what? If you have self-control, but you don't have industriousness, in other words, if you're lazy, so what if you have self-control? Who cares? You're just going to be self-controlling yourself to do nothing because you're lazy, because you're not working hard. So self-control isn't as fundamental as industriousness. It isn't as fundamental as friendship. What if you have self-control, but you're just not a friendly person? You're just not willing to be friendly with anybody. What if you have self-control? Sure, you can control yourself, but you're not loyal. We can't count on you. You can control yourself, but that's nothing more to you than that. I just find it fascinating that self-control is not on the bottom level, but it isn't. It doesn't belong there. John Wooden's really smart. If you focus on self-control as the most basic thing, then people can say, what? I'm controlling myself. I'm just sitting here doing nothing, but I'm controlling myself. What's the problem? No. You got to work and control yourself while you're working. I just love that. Alertness, okay? You know how big I am on that, okay? Because I'm constantly throwing out little, one of the reasons I throw out little goofy jokes and goofy lines all the time for you guys is to keep you alert, because I want to keep you guessing. I want to keep you thinking about what's coming next, or listening to wonder what's that nutty old guy going to say next. And so if I say, or if I do things like pour myself a cup of coffee while making a video, oh my gosh, come on, coach, couldn't you just wait till the video was over? Well, then I wouldn't have you sit here being alert, wondering what I was going to do next, would I? I also wouldn't have coffee. That's another part of it. But anyway, alertness. So let's say you have self-control, but you're not alert. You just can't be, you're loyal. Sure, I'm for the team. What? I missed my turn? Oh, well, but I'm for the team. I'm for the team, and I'm friendly. I'm just not alert. But I'm friendly. Well, sure, it's great to be loyal. It's great to be for the team. You have to have that. You have to be enthusiastic. You have to be cooperative. But you also have to be alert. You have to pay attention. The music helps us stay alert. What I love about the music is that, you know, when it comes to a certain point in the song, you have to do this. And if you miss it, you missed it. You missed it. You weren't alert. You got to pay attention. You got to move your feet in the right order at the right time, or your arms or your body, whatever the case may be. Alertness. Okay, think about it. Self-control, alertness. Initiative begins to get to habit one, be proactive. Initiative means taking it upon yourself to do something. I love it that several of you have written to me and said, Coach, could you please send me the Constitution? I want to read it. That's initiative. That's impressive. Initiative is where you take it upon yourself. So many of you have done great. And don't worry if you haven't sent me that email, by the way. Don't take it as like, oh, Coach isn't happy with me. No, I'm not. Don't think like that. Initiative is where you take it upon yourself to do what you need to do. Okay? And you do it for yourself. You don't just do it for me or anybody else. Although, if you do take initiative, people are going to notice that. The 20th kid takes initiative because it's the 20th kid that isn't following the other 19 kids and automatically doing what they do. Now, understand this the tricky part of this 20th kid lesson is it may seem like the other 19 kids are wrong and the 20th kid is right. That's not it. The other 19 kids might be right, and the 20th kid might be wrong. Or the other 19 kids might be right, and the 20th kid's right. They're just right in different ways. So it's not a question of right and wrong. Okay? That's important that you understand that. But the 20th kid, it takes initiative. The 20th kid will think differently, will ask a different question, or look at a different fact, or maybe look at it from a different perspective. Okay? But initiative is important because now let's say you've got industriousness people who are friendly and loyal and cooperative and enthusiastic, but they can't think for themselves. And they don't really have the ability to have an idea of their own. They don't know how to take initiative. The next one is intentness. Another word, kind of like industriousness, intentness. Think about that. Intent means you intend to do something. It has to do with purpose. It has to do with a reason for doing something. You intend to do something. The themes give us intentness in what we do. Why are we doing that? Well, because our theme is, the new kid. Why are we doing whatever it takes? Well, because whatever it takes is what the new kid has to do when they get to a new school. Whatever it takes, they've got to keep going and push through. So in other words, intentness has to do with the why. Why are you doing all this stuff? The reason for it. Okay? So the why is really important, super important. You have to know why you're doing stuff. That's why I explain things to you. Like this video is pretty long, way long already. And I'm only on the second level. So many of you have switched it off by now, but that's because the pyramid gets smaller as you go up. This word over here on this side is, see if you can see it. We'll try to get it closer. Okay. It is sincerity. Sincerity means, you really do mean it. You really mean it. Really means something to you. You're sincere. You guys know what that word means. I'm sincere about what I do with you. Okay? Some people might think, well, he just takes himself too seriously. No, I don't take myself seriously, actually. But I'm sincere about it. I care about what happens here at school and what happens with you. Why? Because I care about this great country of ours, the USA, baby. And you guys are going to be citizens of the USA. You guys are going to take over. When I'm an old and feeble man, what? What? You think I'm an old, feeble man right now? Well, you might be right. But when I'm older and feebler, let's put it that way, you guys are going to have to take care of me. Think about it. So do you guys know, I think you know my age. Take a guess at what it is if you don't know. Okay, so it's 64. All right. So when I was your age, I thought somebody that was 64 was ready for the coffin. I thought that was like the end. That was so old. But I actually feel kind of young now that I am 64. But let's think 20 years ahead. Then I am going to be old. I'm going to be 84. But you are going to be about 30 or 31 in 20 years from now. And that means you're going to be working. That means you're going to be starting families. That means you're going to be paying taxes. What is he talking about that for? Because that means you're going to be taking care of me. You're going to be taking care of me. So that all wraps up in sincerity. It all wraps up in this last word here. I'm sincere about teaching you to be a productive American citizen, not just so you can take care of me, but so you can take care of what our country stands for, the greatness of our country, liberty, freedom, the freedom to be who you want to be. You're going to be in charge of that pretty soon. That's why I'm sincere about this, because I want you to be ready. Let's go to the third layer, shall we? Let's say you got all those things. Now, a few people have fallen off, but there's still a lot of people that can get all that part done. What's going to be the next level that causes people to fall off? Well, let's look at those words, okay? Here's one where we lose a lot of people right there. Adaptability. Adaptability means that you're able to change with circumstances. Okay? Everything's laid out in a plan. And as long as the plan is working, everything's great. But what happens when the plan doesn't work? Okay? There's one thing, I've learned some pretty cool things earlier in my time. And one of them is you have to plan for things to fall apart. Plan for everything to not work. And then you have a plan for that. So everything's not going to work. But if that happens, I'm going to blank. Well, now you have a plan for the worst possible thing that can happen. So now you know you can adjust to things. So you're okay. You can adapt. Adapting means changing with conditions as they present themselves. Some people can't do it. Others can. You have to be adaptable. Let's look at this next word, or the next three words. The next three words are condition, skill, and team spirit. Let's take those one at a time. When they say condition, what John Wooden's talking about is he's talking about physical condition. He's talking about being physically fit enough to where you're not going to get tired during a game of basketball. He's coaching basketball players. So basketball players play, a game that lasts for a certain amount of time, and he wants his players just as strong at the end of the game as they were at the beginning of the game. So they have to be in good physical condition. So think in your mind for a second of what kinds of things he would make his team do to get in good physical condition. Yes, you're right. Running, sit-ups, push-ups, just become a stronger athlete, jumping exercises, and then to be able to do those for a long period of time. So that's condition, right? That's getting in condition. Well, for our purposes, what we have to do is we have to be in condition, because Focus on Achievement Night lasts about 25 minutes, 30 minutes. So you can't get tired during that. So I've got to, and the other coaches have got to make sure that you can last and not have to stop and need a rest, because we don't want to stop the music so everybody can rest just because you got tired. Whoops. Hold on a second, dude. Okay. I got a battery running low message on my computer. I thought I was going to lose you for a minute there, but you hung in there. Thank you for doing that. Let me get the Pyramid of Success back. Okie dokie. So that's what condition means, and that's why we have you run a lap. That's why we have you do exercises. That's why we have you do something we call disguised fitness. If you think about some of the different routines we do, routines like Can't Hold Us, for example, some of them are really intense and they really have a lot of work in them. Well, that's what we call, don't tell anybody, disguised fitness. We're really doing fitness work with you, but we're just hiding it in this idea that we're doing this fun thing to music. Condition's really important. Skill, okay? Look where skill sits, right in the middle of the pyramid, right there. Because skill is at the base. It's at the middle of everything, not at the base, bottom, but in the middle of everything. Because if you don't have skill, but you have all the other things, skill is like the piano player. It's not that everybody has to have skill, but everybody has to have enough skill to be part of the team. But do you remember when I told you about piano players and piano movers? How if there's a concert, let's say there's going to be a concert at Cypress Woods Cafeteria, and it's a piano concert, and a famous piano player is going to come and play for us. Two things have to happen. You have to have some people that can move a piano up onto that stage, and I don't know how they would do it. They'd have to kind of lift it up the stairs, so you have to have many people doing that. Pianos are heavy. And then you would have to have somebody to come and play the piano. Well, the piano player better have some skill playing the piano. If it was me, I would be one of the piano movers, because when it comes time to play the piano, bang, 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 it would be ugly. It wouldn't even be fun to listen to. People would be reaching for their earplugs. But I could learn. I could learn to play chopsticks. I could learn a couple of chords. I could learn, and if I practiced, I could be okay. I probably wouldn't be a famous piano player, but I could get along. And so skill is important. Now, the way we focus on skill in terms of Focus on Achievement Night is we will break down. I want you to think about the music that we sometimes use, and I'm going to try to find this one song here. You know the one I'm looking for. It's actually interesting because Dr. Kenny, I think I told you this, asked permission, not that she needed to ask my permission, but she thought it was so cool that when we did our skill work, we used Go Rest High on That Mountain at the beginning of our skill work, because that slow tempo allows you to learn skill. I'm looking for, sorry, I'm not looking up at you, I'm looking for it here, almost there, yeah, almost there, not quite, here it is, you'll recognize it. Nice and slow song, so that we can get the skill right. There's something cool about skill is that you have to go slow at first. You go nice and slow. You build it up a little at a time. And there you go. Well, if you try to learn skill too fast or in the wrong way, or you don't have the patience to go slow and learn it the right way, you won't learn it. Skill is so important. Skill is a fine thing. And what I mean by fine, I don't mean fine like awesome. I mean fine like precise. Skill involves precision. And you've got to do it. You've got to do it right. And if you don't do the skill right, things won't come together. The skills involved in Focus on Achievement Night are the exact steps. As years have gone by, if you think about it, each of the routines that we've done have gotten harder and harder and harder to do. Safety dance last year, man, that was amazing how well you guys learned how to do that, because there was so much skill involved in that, so much. Thunder, whatever it takes. Let's see what else. Team spirit. Well, that goes without saying. You know, I don't even have to talk about it. You guys know what team spirit's all about, how we live. Cypress Woods, I'm not even going to waste your time with it. Honesty is the other one, okay? Honesty, okay? That's the one on the side. You know how I feel about that. And you know I try to be honest with you. When I mess up, I will apologize to you. I'll own it. And I want you to do the same thing. I want you to be honest in your effort. I want you to try your best. And you do. You guys give us so much. And I'm so grateful for that. But you have to be honest. You have to be honest with each other. Most importantly, you have to be honest with yourself. Okay? Because at the end of the day, you can hide things for a while. You can hide things for a long time. But there'll be a day when you can't hide things forever. One of the reasons there's a big fallout at this level is because people that are not honest cannot continue to go along. They can hide things through the first two levels. The third level unlocks them. The third level is where they fall out. Let's move. Now we've lost a lot of people. Think about this in a lot of schools. Think about how wide the pyramid is up here compared to how wide it was down here. So a lot of people have fallen out after the first three levels. Now you're getting to where the top people or the top schools are. So let's look now at those words. Poise and confidence. Poise. It's another word that I don't use very often. You haven't heard me use, and maybe you don't know what it means, but poise means being cool under pressure, being calm under pressure. Those of you guys that do, what do you call it? Battle of the Books. You have to have poise in Battle of the Books because you have to think fast under the pressure of, other people trying to go faster than you and people watching and the bells and whistles and sounds and all that. That's the people that can do that. And can maintain their composure and get the answers. That's poise. Poise is what a good safety patrol has to have, especially when they're dealing with situations that cause them to have to think fast, and that might involve some examples of safety versus danger. Poise. Poise is definitely what Focus on Achievement Night's all about. For those of you that were in the Focus on Achievement Night in your third grade year. Of course, we didn't have one last year. I'm talking when I'm talking to fifth graders now. Okay, you were in Focus on Achievement Night your third grade year. You're the only ones in the school right now who have been at a Focus on Achievement Night for third, fourth, and fifth graders. That's the ones where we really push you kids. You guys are the only ones. If we don't have one this year, next year, we're going to have a whole brand new group of kids that have never been in Focus on Achievement Night. But you guys that were in it in third grade, poise, see if you can remember when Focus on Achievement Night started. how you felt inside. All of the people there, the nervousness, the music starts. It's louder than it ever has been. You're out on the court, you're not under the shelter, there's more people out there. That's when you have to have poise. That's when you have to hold it together. Okay, I'll tell you a story. I won't tell it right now in this video. One time where I took myself out of the competitive greatness pyramid, of the pyramid of success. I took myself out at this poise level, and I've regretted it ever since then. I did something when I was 23 years old. I'll tell it in another video. Poise, confidence, poise and confidence. Okay? Confidence, you know what that is. Believing you can do it. Gotta have confidence in yourself. Gotta believe in yourself. Okay? Too many people defeat themselves. I'm going to teach you about something called the Killian one of these days. And that is something that my high school teams used to use to destroy the opponent's confidence, because we used to use this pregame warm-up routine, and the other teams would look at it and go, there is no way we could ever do that. Oh my gosh, look at those guys. We could never do that. And so they would lose their confidence even before the game started, because they were playing against a team that could do something that they know they could never do. One of the things that Focus on Achievement Night gives us is a confidence, if you stop and think about it, or if you have friends and you can talk to them at their schools, that we do things that other schools don't even try to do. Okay? When you get to this level, many schools bail in terms of a Focus on Achievement Night type thing, because there's just no way our kids would do that. Our kids, that's just not going to happen. It's too much. But we don't look at you that way. We look at you as, it's not too much. We think you're capable of it. So let's do it. And, of course, you guys always rise to the occasion. But let's look at the side words here. I love these side words here, okay? So the one here where it says poise is that one. I hope you can see it. It's resourcefulness. So resourcefulness is a little bit like adaptability. It's the ability to find ways to get a job done. We are really going to have to use resourcefulness if we're going to have Focus on Achievement Night this year, because we've got all of the factors working against us. Think about it. First of all, you got the virus that's keeping everybody apart. So you think about all of the work we do at PE where we learn something together, right? We don't have that. We don't have that. And then we don't have the ability to gather and just practice together. We're separate. You guys that are watching this video, you don't gather with each other. So that's going to require, either we're going to quit or we're going to become resourceful. And then for me, how do I develop a program that allows us to have a Focus on Achievement Night, even though we can't do things the way we normally can do? It's very easy for me to say, well, sorry, we just can't do it this year. And by the way, if that ends up happening, then that ends up happening. But I'm not closing the door on it. I never close the door until you have to close the door, till the very end, till the last day of school goes by and we didn't do it. Then I'll say, okay, I'm sorry, we couldn't do it. But until that last day comes, I'm going to believe there's a way to do it. But I have a way. I've been thinking about a way. That's why I'm teaching you the brain primers, okay? And I've asked you to stick with me on this. But resourcefulness, it's a way to get things done even though it doesn't seem it's possible to get them done. And then if you look at this here, this word here is really important. It's reliability. Reliability. Reliability is something you kids that are home have to have. We have to be able to count on you. that you come to the computer, that you listen, that you follow along with the lessons, that you do them honestly, that you give them your best effort, you know. But the thing is, the way I look at it is, you should be doing this stuff for you, not for me. But if you're not reliable, it's easy to put on a fake, oh, I did it, and send me a fake email. Oh, honest, it was great. I walked my dog, or whatever, thing you want to say. I can't, I'm not going to run around and check on you. You're either reliable or you're not. And you might get away with things for a while, but it's going to catch up to you. At some point, you're going to fall out, and a lack of reliability might be the thing that causes you to fall out. One day I'll tell you the story of Coach Clark when she got hired here. Reliability was a big, big part of it. She really impressed Coach Anderson and I in the interview process. Okay, so now we are all the way to here. We're all the way up to here. So look, all of these schools out here have fallen out, but there's still a few left. And now the next one, the only one that has 2 words, competitive greatness. And then the side words, which are the word that I love more than any other, which is integrity. And can you see it? Fight. It doesn't mean fight with each other. So let's go through these words. Let's start with integrity. I think you know what integrity is, but if you don't, I want you to look that word up. Of all the words on here, of every word in this entire pyramid, that's the one I think is the most important word. Integrity means doing the right thing for the right reason. Simple as that. And I want you to try to live a life of integrity. Your parents, I'm sure, would love nothing more from you than this. That you are somebody that when people look at you, people say, that person can be counted on. That person has integrity. Sometimes integrity can come in handy for you, right? Because it can bail you out of a situation. Let's say you're a person of honest integrity. You're a person of integrity. People know that you can be trusted, and they know you do the right thing for the right reason, right? And then something happens where it looks like maybe you stole something, but you didn't, but it looks like maybe you did, right? Well, if you have integrity, people are going to immediately say, no, that couldn't be what happened here. They'd never steal. They would never do that. There's got to be another explanation, because I know that person has integrity. You can count on that person. There's got to be something different going on here. But let's say you didn't have integrity. Let's say you were dishonest, and let's say maybe you even had taken something from somebody before. Let's say maybe you don't always tell the truth, or you don't always try your best. Something. And then all of a sudden it looks like you stole something. Well, people might say, yeah, they probably did. They probably did take it. I mean, after all, they do these other things. I hope they didn't do it, but I could believe it if they did. See, you have to build up your integrity ahead of time. And integrity is not something you can go to the store and buy. There's things that are expensive, and integrity is way more expensive than money, things money can buy. You have to work at it. You have to work at it every day. And you're going to mess up. because you're a human being and you're going to fall off. But when you fall off, you have to own it. My bad. That was my bad. I messed up. And then you have to get back on and keep working at being a person of integrity, because the one thing you want people to do when they think about you is they want to think of you as a person of integrity. Some people want to be thought of as being famous. Some people want to be thought of as being a great athlete or an amazing musician or a great writer. And all of these things are good things. But none is greater than being a person of integrity. Strive to be a person of integrity. There's a reason that integrity is right near the top. Competitive greatness, okay? So competitive greatness means being in competition at a really high level. But who are we in competition with? We are not in competition with another person. We are not in competition with another school. We are in competition with ourselves. We are in competition with our own vision of what we think we can be. That's who we're in competition with. It's Cypress versus Cypress. Okay? But when you get in competition with yourself and you do the best you can do, and you bring all of these traits to bear, and you work hard at being all of the things in the pyramid, then what's going to end up happening is you're going to look to your right and to your left, and all of a sudden, so many people have fallen out because you are in competition with yourself, not in competition with them. What if we were in competition with a school that fell off at this level? Well, then we would stop, and we wouldn't achieve this level and this level. Why would we? We already won. We already beat that other school. To get in competition with another person is a trap. It's a trap because it keeps you from being in competition with yourself. Now, you can use another person as motivation. Nothing wrong with that. It's like, I'm going to beat you. You're going to beat me. Oh, yeah, well, let's see what happens. And so you're competing with each other, but the reason you're doing it is so that you can motivate yourself to do even better. So it's kind of tricky how that is. But being in competition with another person is fine as long as the purpose is not to beat the other person, but the purpose is to make yourself better. It's tricky, but you can figure that out. And then you get to the very, very top two qualities, which are on the side. Let's take a look at them. Okay. This and this. Faith and patience. Faith means that even if you do everything right, you still have to believe that it's going to lead you to your ultimate goal, which is to get to the very top. Let's say, at the very top, I pointed right there. Let's say that it is our goal to do Focus on Achievement Night, which it is. And let's say that we have a really exciting program with a lot of things in it. And we work super hard at all of these levels. And we do a really good job. And we are ready. We are ready. We are so ready. And then the night comes for Focus on Achievement Night to happen, right? And it's like 5 minutes before it's going to start. In that moment, do you have faith that it's actually going to work? Do you believe? Because at some point, the practice is all over with, and then you enter the competition. You're either going to win or you're going to lose. And do you have faith that all of your preparation is going to lead you to accomplish your goal. Some people don't. Some people are afraid. Some people they doubt themselves. They don't have the self-confidence. Or they don't have the confidence in the team. They find ways, oh, this is stupid. Why would we do this? This is dumb. This is never going to work. Why should we even try? This happens a lot. A lot. You have faith. Because, do you remember I played the song for you anyway? Anyway, I'll put that video back on for you. It's a song about even when everything else is messing up, do it anyway. It's a song about faith. Having faith means you believe that something's going to work. Sometimes the word faith is associated with religion, like having religious faith. But I'm not talking, I mean, that's important in its own right, but I'm not talking about that right now. I'm just talking about having the faith in yourself to believe that everything you've done up until that top point, up until the last moment, is going to work. And then the last one up there was patience. And patience is about having patience all the way through the process. Believing that all of the work you're doing is going to lead to something good. Even if you fall out at the top last moment, you fall out, having the patience to do it again and do it again and do it again until you get there. That's the pyramid of success. Now, if you think about the way we teach you in PE, this is how we teach you. I have been lucky enough to coach teams that have won championships, and then 3 times teams that have made it into the championship game got all the way to the end of the game, and the game was tied, and we had to go into overtime, and we lost the championship in overtime. And seniors in high school lost the championship game in overtime. They can't come back and do it again. But the younger players on the team had to believe and had to have patience and faith and believe that if they came back and did it all over again, eventually it would lead to them being at the top of the pyramid. Getting high up on the pyramid is awesome. We aren't the best school in the world. We aren't even close to the best school in the world, but we're one of them. We're one of the best PE programs in the world, one of the best, okay? And we are, because of the way we do things, we do things a certain way. There are, I'm just going to tell you guys, there are a lot of them that are really, really good. That I would look at them and I would go, wow, they're better than, they do more things than we do. They have, they do. But what I think we're the greatest in the world at, is at what we do. The way we approach PE, the way we try to use music to create a theme and an exercise routine, all of that, I don't think there's anybody better. And I've talked to enough people around the world that are experts, and I have not yet, and I'm on the mission to find somebody better than us. And why? So that we can learn from them. But I don't think there's anybody better in the world at what we do in terms of building toward Focus on Achievement Night. It's pretty cool to be the best in the world. It's a good feeling, and you are part of a PE program that is the best in the world at this one thing. So for me, that's worth working for. That's worth fighting for, and that's worth pushing for. Oh, fight! Did we talk about that word? Yeah, we don't think we came back to that word, did we? No, I don't think we did. Fight. Okay, fight is about just pushing, not giving up, just working extra hard. If you have to do 25 sit-ups, and you get to 20 and you don't feel like you can do any more, you push yourself through the last 5 sit-ups. You fight. If you have to run around that backstop and it's so tiring and you're hot, but you fight to get there. If we've given you a challenge, like you got to make it in X amount of time or something, and you give it everything you've got. You guys have done this before. You've shown us fight. You've shown us belief in yourself and fight, especially on running laps. And it's impressive. Sorry, I forgot that word. Duh. Get with the program, man. But anyway, just to wrap this up, it's the longest video I've ever made. And I'm sure none of you are watching it at this point. But if any of you have stayed with me this long, I just wanted you to see how we are using the traits of one of the best coaches of all time, John Wooden, and the famous John Wooden, who created the Pyramid of Success and who actually signed this thing himself, authenticated by this certificate of authenticity, John Wooden. All right, people. You know I love you guys. That's what I got for now. Until the next one. Bye-bye.